There's a lot of juice to squeeze in the middle rounds of your fantasy draft. There's a lot of upside. There's a lot of players to backfill in your roster to keep your roster stable. There's a lot of things to do in the middle rounds of your draft this year. Really depends on how you start off your draft, how you start building your team, and what you actually want your team to look like. But one player who has a ton of upside, that has the potential to go off this year and really help you out, especially on the back end of your roster, is Zay Flowers, rookie wide receiver of the Baltimore Ravens. This guy was electric in college, and he is looking good in training camp. He's breaking off routes. He's destroying DBs and joint practices against his team as well, and we're seeing him do some good things. He was drafted in the first round. We got draft capital behind him. We got a quarterback that likes to sling it deep when the game script calls for it, and he's a player that likes to run it deep as well. So this is a good match made in heaven for when the game script calls for it, a player that could really exceed expectations, and that is something for us to get excited about. Looking at the stats here from college, he broke out at age 19, great threshold there. A guy that can transition from the high school level to college level rather quickly, which means he's more than likely going to be able to transition quickly from the college level to the NFL level. Also, highly productive from a market share standpoint. At age 19, had a 28.53% market share, and then after that, in his junior and senior seasons, over a 30% market share. Could have came out after his junior year. His profile would have been good enough, but stayed for his senior season. Still looked good. Still balled out. Also, averaged 2.45 yards per team pass attempt during the last 2 years of his collegiate career. Very productive, very efficient. 2.22 yards per route ran, and he had an ADOT of 13.1 on his career with a high of 15. He likes to get downfield, and we all know he's a nuanced route runner. We're seeing him break off routes in camp, left and right on DBs, making him look silly, and we saw him do this at Boston College, and this is going to transition quickly to the NFL game. Also, when we look at the prize tier in fantasy football, we got an ADP in the 7th round. That's where you're going to look at drafting him. 7th, 8th round, somewhere around that area. This is from Underdog Best Ball. So imagine in your basic hometown leagues, he's going to be a little cheaper. Imagine you're going to see him around the 8th round or so, somewhere around that range, and should be a decent get at that price tag. 82 overall, wide receiver 41. When you're looking that deep at wide receiver, the one thing you want to look at is upside. You want to look at the upside because maybe this young player can exceed expectations and just blow up on you. And if it doesn't, guess what? There's other fish in the sea, and that's what you want to look at. What we like about Zay Flowers' first-round draft capital means there's a good chance he's going to get opportunity early in his career. He's also a good athlete with a 4.42 40-yard dash. Size-adjusted athleticism doesn't hit as well with him being 182 pounds, but still, we know how he can win on the field. We can win with deep balls. We can win with nuance. And when the game script breaks down, we're going to see some blow-off top games. We're not expecting consistency off the rip. We're really expecting a build-up, and we're expecting some top-end performances here and there when the game script calls for it. And remember, we're paying wide receiver 41 price tag here. Super cheap. And you got to think here, you need him because you want to tap into the unknown upside. You missed that wide receiver and started your draft, you're building on the back end, you're going to need some upside there. Wide receivers getting thin in this area, you might as well chase some of those guys who got some upside. If we're going to get some potential spike weeks, you want the spike weeks because they will help you win weeks and win games. However, you're not going to need them if you're stacked at wide receiver and you need running backs because 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round, those areas of the draft, the RB dead zone as they call it these days, you got a good batch of jabroni running backs who can help you out. Those running backs can really help turn things around for you. If you're scared of volatility, you may not want him. If you're scared of gambling on young players, you may not want him. If you want a player you can trust, a steady veteran, you're going to want that instead. Zay Flowers isn't for everybody, and I'm not going to create a video here just being a used car salesman and telling you, hey, get this guy or else. I'm going to tell you the downside. And you know what? Not every player is for everybody. And there's a reason why Zay Flowers may not be for you, and it may not be. But the price is cheap. He's free, and he's a player that you could get and really have him on the back of your roster to see what happens. Compared to other rookie wide receivers, it's very cheap. Very cheap investment. And if you want one that can go nuclear on you, that exceeds expectations, this might be your guy. If not, go after the running backs. Personally, in this part of the draft, I'm going after the running backs, and if I am going after receivers in this area, it will be the rookies if they fall to me at a discount, or some other wide receiver in a good offense, or I feel like has some upside to tap into, because I'm looking to get my consistency when they're like wide receiver 20 or better. That's when I'm looking to get that consistency out of, maybe wide receiver 25 range, somewhere like that. Once they get past that, I'm shooting for upside, I'm shooting my shot, and if I miss, there's the waiver wire, and I'm going to turn and burn, because that's how I like to roll it. I like to stay active and keep my roster moving from week to week and playing the matchups. Let me know what you think about Zay Flowers in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.